Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Patience and I create content to help international students navigate life in Canada. If you want to see videos like that, just stick around, subscribe, support this channel, just join this family basically. All right, without wasting much time, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the documents you need to come to Canada. So I've made like two videos on this before in the past, but the thing is, with the new updates coming out almost every single time, they tend to update documents that you would need to come to Canada almost every single time. Now, in case you don't know, there are many changes that have been coming out almost every single time, right? So the thing is, Canadian government, they have many rules put in place because they've kind of put a cut or a cap for the temporary residents and for the permanent residents as well. And you know that under the temporary residents, that's where the international students will fall under. So there's a cut on many things, right? So we want to make sure that, or I want to make sure that you guys have all of the information that you need to apply to come to Canada, right? So in this video, the documents I'll mention, some of them might be similar to like my previous video, the updated one I filmed. So I wouldn't really go into details with all of the documents I would mention. I would only kind of like explain the ones that are new, right? And then the ones that are the same, I'll just kind of tell you to go and watch that video so I don't repeat myself again. So the first document that you need when you're coming to Canada is your letter of acceptance or your admission letter. Of course, so this is basically a letter that the school would give to you stating that you have an admission in the school. This letter is an official letter, basically would have like a letterhead of the university. It will be signed, dated of course, from the registrar office or something, basically just showing that you have been admitted into that school. Now I get some questions people ask me saying, is the letter of acceptance and admission letter the same? Now this question is very important. It's not a yes or no question. So I would say it will depend on the school you're attending, right? The school will determine if they are giving two different letters, right? So because some people are saying that the letter of acceptance that they received is not the one that they need to submit for their visa, basically saying that they need to submit another letter or something. So it is your school that will tell you, or you ask your school basically that this letter you're giving to me, is it enough for the visa, submission and documents and stuff like that? If it's a yes, then go ahead. If it's a no, then don't use it, right? So that question, I hope it has been answered. So I can't really say if it's the same or not. It depends on the school that you've applied to, right? So for the admission letter, right, or for the letter of acceptance, now you need to also ask your school to verify this letter, right? This is very important. If you go to the website of IRCC under the documents you need to kind of come to Canada for to study basically, you will see this information there. So what you need to do is that when you're applying for study permits, when you are going through the application, there's a part where you need to upload your letter of acceptance, right? Now, when you do that, you need to go and email your school and tell them to validate that letter of acceptance because IRCC would reach out to your school, right, and ask them. Basically, I think there's a way that they would ask your school to validate that letter, right? So you kind of have to tell your school. I think the school will probably have a system, but you need to kind of remind them, right, and make sure that the school validates it. So IRCC would not come and tell you that I'm waiting for you. I haven't heard from the school. Basically, no, they won't tell you. It is your responsibility to email the school or to ask the school. You can tell them beforehand that, okay, I just submitted my application, right? IRCC might be sending you maybe a link or something to validate this letter very soon. Please do well to click on it. Or you can send them maybe like after a week you submitted or something and ask them that, have you validated this letter? Or you can tell them that once you do it, let me know when you validate the letter. All of this thing is very important because on the site from IRCC, you read it there and say that it is the responsibility of the student to make sure that the school validates the letter of acceptance, right? And it's very important. And it said that if the school doesn't validate it by the deadline that it gives the school, they would refund the application fee and then the application is rendered invalid. This is very important because, like I said, they are doing many cuts, right? So you don't want to be in the bad side or you don't want to be doing something bad. So of course, if you don't follow any rule that they've set in place, they'll just kind of put it aside and that's it, right? So they're looking for a way to cut out people, right? So make sure you follow this very well. Just follow up your application. Once you submit it, email the school straight away. Tell them that they need to validate the letter that IRCC will send to them, basically just to show that the letter is valid from the school, right? If they don't do this, IRCC will think that that letter is not valid and that the school did not give you the letter. basically it's fake or something, right? So they would not give you the study permit for sure. So make sure you follow up with the school, please. Very important. For the letter of acceptance, some people might have conditions on the LOA. But if your LOA have a condition that you need to meet before you come to Canada, please make sure you do that before you come. Do not submit your LOA with a condition that you can actually remove or something. You get it. But if you're not able to address them, try to explain it in your SOP so you don't have any problem with that. Now, the next document you need, of course, is your valid international passport. You need to make sure that it's valid. It means that it must not be expired or almost expired. Make sure you have at least 1 or 2 year, grace period on your passport before you submit it for your application. Number 3, you need something called a provincial attestation letter, or that's PAL. So this is very important because there's a change to this. Now, this PAL, I'll call it PAL, was something that they brought out this year, January 22nd of this year. So basically, you need to contact your school, right, and ask them to give you this letter. This is a way for them to kind of account for the number of people that are coming to Canada, right? So each province will have a number that they want to kind of bring into the province, right? So basically, I think the government of Canada gives each school a number that they can actually have, right? So each school would have to issue out this PAL to each student based on the number that they have basically for that year. Do you get it? Now, this letter, even though it's a provincial letter, it should come from the school. Don't ask the government of Canada for this PAL. Now, when this first came out, it was basically mostly for like people applying for undergraduate programs, maybe colleges and stuff like that. The people applying for master's or PhD program were exempted as of January of this year, right? But when the new rule came out, I think it was October or so, they kind of said that, okay, we need the masters and the PhD students to still give us this letter. But there are still some exemptions right now. Again, it's a very simple system. Just email your school. And I saw on their site, they said that the letter doesn't expire, I think, up until January 21st of next year. So that means that in case maybe you were denied the first time and you need to reapply, you can use the same letter to reapply again. So it doesn't expire, except the letter has an expiry date from the school and says that it expires, then it doesn't expire, basically. So the provincial attestation letter is very important. Now, the next thing that you will need is basically your application form. Previously, there was an application form that you would use that you would need to fill out all of your details, basically, right? That was the only format that you would need to fill out your application to come to Canada. But right now, there's a new system that is in place. So instead of applying using an application form, I think it's the IMM something. I'll put the name of the form here. Instead of using that form, right, to fill out your details, you can use the IRCC portal to fill out your details. And I have a very detailed video of how to do this on my channel. You can go and watch it. So I'll put it somewhere there. You can still use the application form if you want to, but that's an old system. So this new portal that they've brought out, right, you will just fill out all of your details. Basically the same as the form, right, but it's on the portal, right? And I think that they prefer this. I'm not saying that you shouldn't use the old form if it's convenient for you, but I think the IRCC would prefer if you use this new portal to fill out your details because it kind of makes things easier. I mean, for those doing paper application, definitely they will need to print out that form and fill it out by hand, right? So, but for those doing online application, typically they will do it online anyways. I think this IRCC portal would be the way that you would go, right, to fill out all of your details. Again, I have a very detailed video on my channel of how to fill the form, where to find the form, how to access the portal and everything. Now, another thing that you would need is your proof of funds. That's basically your bank statements, basically showing that you're able to fund yourself. This part didn't change. I don't think it did. So I will not talk much about this. I'll just tell you to go to my previous video. Go and watch that video. I detailed every single thing there. The amount, I don't think it has changed. The amount is still the same. If you're coming to Canada by yourself or with a family member, the amount that you need to have in your account, who can get a bank statement, like how to get a bank statement, all of the things that are important for proof of funds, I mentioned them in that video. So the next document that you would need is your statement of purpose or SOP or your letter of explanation. Again, nothing has changed about this. Basically, SOP is the same. Actually, I have a video on my channel explaining, how to write an SOP, like very detailed video of how I did mine and how you can do yours as well. So I'll link you to those two videos, and then that will help you. Now the next document you would need is your medical exam. Again, I'll link you to my previous video. Go and watch what I talked about there. Upfront medical exam when they ask for it and stuff like that, right? So medical exam is very important as well. You also need your police clearance as well. Just go to any police station that you know is near you. They have a system that they can print out for you for visa application. Very, very easy to get. So basically, that's another thing you need. And then other documents will basically be like your passport photograph. I think you need two digital passport photograph. If you go to their website, you would see like the dimensions and all of that that you need for the passport photograph. And then, of course, you need additional documents, all of your certificates, everything that you think is necessary for you to submit. When you see the website, the part where you upload those documents might not be there. If you are thinking that you would see, okay, certificates, the part of upload those things, you might actually end up not submitting them, but they're important. So basically, you have to use your initiative. I think there's a part where they actually said supporting information or something like that. That's where you put, I think, your SOP and then every other things that you think that you might need. Make sure that you have all of the documents that you've explained your SOP. If you're talking about your marriage, you need to show your marriage certificate. You talked about a business that you have. Of course, you need to put the proof of business there. Landed properties, you need to put proof of that as well. And everything that you think are important, you need to attach them to your application. All right, so that's all for this video. If this video has helped you, please like, comment, share the video, and subscribe to my channel. There are many people that are watching and they're not subscribed. We are doing this video to help you, so help us by subscribing, commenting, liking the video, and sharing it as well. It will help my channel grow, right? And if you have questions, please put them in the comment section. I will do my possible best to answer them at my earliest convenience. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.